play-ins, because this is going to be a tough task. It feels like we're kind of sending another first seed, because these two have been to the last, like, 3 MSIs together, you know?
Yeah, it certainly does feel that way. T1 end up on blue side again here with this choice here of Gen.G of the first pick. So we'll see what they want to do with this in this draft as we get very, very deep into Fearless. A lot of people do prefer the counter pick, but not Gen.G in this situation. So it makes you wonder what that first pick they're really gunning for is ultimately going to be. When Engage is starting to become a premium, that could be something that they've got their eyes on.
Well, Varus going to be taken away second here. The Rise is the notable ban that has not been taken just yet. And Gen.G, will they be banning that away? Do they want to get themselves a Karma? Or do they take away the Karma here and allow these Engage supports to sort of roam free at this stage?
Interesting, some of the picks have been really high prio in the LCK regular season. Obviously, the patch has changed, but I was going to say, Caitlyn and Jarvan are picks that have been largely overlooked throughout this weekend and are coming in as these late bans. I was thinking maybe those were the sort of picks that Gen.G would opt to prioritize coming out of this draft, but not going to be the case. Karma, though, left available here for Gen.G to take if they want it.
Ezreal up and available as well, and I think that it is somewhat dangerous to go for this. You can lock Karma and then get either Sivir or Ezreal, especially with the Jarvan banned away. That makes a bit of sense, and that's what they're going to go for here. But it is dangerous. We've seen Karma's really run into some issues when there's a champion that wants to roam over the other side of the rift.
Now imagine if T1 were able to get Misfortune Nautilus and then on 3 get Jarvan or any variation of that. The Jarvan's banned. I think that's why Gen.G predicted this was going to happen. If the Rise ban goes through to get the Karma, they don't have to worry about the Jarvan. But we'll see what gets picked here for T1, because if you go for that Misfortune, it creates a lot of other holes in your draft. And instead, we're seeing the Gnar with the Vayne fearlessly banned here, feeling like a great blind pick for Doran. Let's see what comes with this, as it looks like T1 are opting not for the bottom lane, but instead for the top half.
Something that was banned in the previous draft was Owner's Nocturne, which is potentially on the cards. Not sure if they want to prioritize it here and now, but a potential option, and it looks like they will go for that.
That's going to be the choice. This was a difficulty a couple of days ago, but we know that Owner is pretty phenomenal on this champion, regardless of one game's play. And let's see, Gen.G not going to have that Ezreal denied. They can go for the Karma Ezreal if they would like to, or they can focus on getting some counters out onto the map, as Karma can pair with a lot of different things that are still up and available. There's been a lot of weird stuff picked in the AD carry role, as Canyon thinking about the Xin Zhao. So Xin Zhao Karma, I think it's phenomenal combination.
Yeah, it's just going to be the Xin Ezreal. You could have considered a Sivir, but you really don't have to right here with how much power there's already packed into this bottom duo. The response here is an interesting one, because if you go for your top side lock-in, it means that you can do something that's good with the Nocturne. But again, we've already talked about Faker's Aurora and how we don't expect him to play it.
Maybe the Lissandra is an option here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a safer blind one, maybe.
You have the bans afterwards, so you can kind of... And it's already so late and Fearless that a lot of these mid laners have been trimmed away. So I think they can make sure that the solo laners have a good lane. We'll see how much priority they put towards Faker or Doran in terms of these bans.
Yeah, few options, as Keen has had a lot of things that he's liked to play into the Gnar. I'm kind of expecting that he probably wants to just play Renekton, like kind of everyone. But we've seen Twisted Fate in the top side of the map, and could be used as a flex pick as well for Gen.G if they would like to. Although they will be locking in both of their champions at the same time, so things should be a little bit face up.
Nautilus, I think, has to be banned by Gen.G here, as the Sylas ban is great for the Gnar.
Oh, that's such a good read, actually.
Yeah.
There's some amazing ults.
It almost looks like you could see Ryu's reaction to that.
Like, dang it.
A little bit frustrated, but they were able to read that one. Nautilus feels so good with T1's draft, because
I think Lulu as well is kind of absurd.
Yeah, those two, because you can make a Lulu scaling lane there. Nautilus allows you to just chain the CC together, and ultimately they'll ban Sivir instead, which is quite interesting.
I think maybe scared of a Sivir Yuumi that we've seen sometimes that can sort of just survive the harass with the sustain from the Yuumi, the spell shield, and scale up to be pretty monstrous with this team composition. They end up taking that away. There is still the Ashe Seraphine on the cards. So I wonder if Gen.G are at all concerned about that.
There's that TF that we were talking about, and I'm actually assuming that that is a Keen ban. think we've seen TF into Lissandra in the past.
T1 were like, are they going to ban mid or ban top? And they're kind of hitting both bases.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of those picks could go in either lane.
Yeah.
Yep. Due to, of course, making the Silas Hiddenar famous this season, as it has been used in the past as well.
I mean, there's potential for a lot of different things to come out here for Keen in the top lane.
I think this is because the Nico Nocturne combo is so threatening, and obviously they're playing the Ezreal relatively safe AD carry, but playing into Lissandra Nico Nocturne is just nightmare fuel, literally.
I mean, I think that Gen.G could still play Renekton. It's a little bit tricky here. There's obviously the ability to play Tristana, which we've seen in the past, which gives you an additional AD carry threat. And I mentioned earlier, they left the Nautilus up. So
I think just MF Nautilus,
yeah,
you're right.
It is definitely something I expected to see banned, and we didn't see that. We saw the Sivir, then we saw the Nico. They pivot, and it's going to be Inara Lulu.
All right, well, Chovy has your Lulu. If they do want to pick it away, that's going to be where it has to go. I don't know whether that is going to be the case.
I don't think so.
And Faker has had a lot of experience with Lulu mid, as it's still one of his most played champions, even though it's fallen out of the meta a very long time ago. He did have to play it many, many times. That's the Aurora that you were talking about. But that's a gangplank.
Keen is one of the picks we've seen from Keen and
they lock it in!
Keen and Keenan are the two players in our region who love to play this into the Gnar more than anyone else. It gives you a lot of extra scaling damage and a global threat.
Just makes it so hard to sort of skate around the battlefield as a Yunara as well.
But also gives a second very real threat to Gen.G. So regardless of what their mid pick is, there's so much single target focus from T1, and you're going to have the Gangplank as a second target you have to take down who has those oranges to cleanse on Lissandra ult, for example. They go for the Ahri, not a matchup that typically you would see picked into the Lissandra, but we have seen it was specifically Lissandra Nocturne played into Zeka's Ahri earlier this weekend, and he managed to evade a lot of the threat quite effectively.
In this meta, I'm never a fan of Zilean. If you res your AD carry dies a second time every time. We've seen Zilean work well, I think, in solo lanes and in other places with different drafts than this one. I wasn't really buying into that hover. I think always
it was always going to be Lulu, and Carrier wanted to, give the fans a little bit of hope that he was going to play one of his weird things, but that's just not going to happen.
I mean, with Nocturne on your side, and the fact that this lane is incredibly powerful, it's just such a brain dead choice. Like, anyone could make this choice. Everyone would make this choice. Not saying that Carrier is brain dead because he made it. I mean, anyone could make this choice. And Keen on this GP gives you a little bit of extra explosive power, but it is also a pick that can be vulnerable into this comp and can be pushed on in side lanes by this Nocturne. I like T1's draft more. I think they got a lot of meta picks here that work really well together, and Gen.G kind of found some answers that aren't that convincing, but at least they found some answers to what T1 put together. But T1's draft is proven, and Gen.G's is not.
I think in terms of the cohesion in team fights, T1 definitely have it, but I'm a little bit concerned about you have a Nocturne into a Xin Zhao, going to have more early pressure. You're playing into Ezreal Karma, you're playing into the GP, the Ahri. I feel like the early pressure is there for Gen.G. Can they snowball that into an advantage that will win them the game?
Yeah, I do think that there is a winning lane in top lane for T1, but outside of that, it should be a lot going in Gen.G's way, unless Faker can get the better of Chovy, who kind of self-counterpicked himself in this one. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for T1's match point. Gen.G, they can take us to Silver Scrapes with a victory here. T1, they could just punch their ticket to Daejeon right now and be our second seed, meaning that our first seed from regular season would be the first one going, and then our second from the regular season will also be going. There's something nice about that, I guess. But Gen.G not wanting to go out without a fight. As now Canyon walking up towards Ona here, steals away the Raptor camp, gets level 2, and sends Ona packing.
What did Ox just say? Early game Xin Zhao going to feel pretty good into Nocturne.
Yeah, completely cuts Ona out of this portion of his jungle, and Ona's going to immediately make his way up to match. He's already behind in tempo quite significantly. And my concern right now isn't really for Ona. It's for T1's bot lane, who might end up getting pushed on the tower. They're cut off from their jungler. could we end up seeing a potential level 3 dive come in? We've seen it before plenty of times this LCK season.
Yeah, it certainly could happen. And they set it up with a level 1. They cleared the ward. They did everything right. They had all full information about what T1 was starting here, so they knew they could find and interact with the Nocturne and set up for that potential dive here. Level 2 reached for Ruler and Duro on the bottom side as they continue to stack this massive wave up. Owner is going to, like you say, be able to cross-map here and try to get something back, but he will not be here for any potential defense. It's still, you know, early game, it's still, you know, heal and barrier available for Pays, so it looks like they're not going to opt for this, but did dare to wonder.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some level 1s, some Ezreal Karma just completely blow out the lane, and I think the fact that Pays and Carry are doing okay in the 2v2, even though they are being pressured, does mean that we're not going to see that early dive, but definitely a scary situation to be in with the prospect there.
Yeah, you can see King getting pushed in towards his top side. It's not fun in the early levels, absolutely, but can certainly get better as the game goes on. It's more about the scaling for the Gangplank rather than anything else, and the impact that your ultimate can have globally as this game goes on. As Carrier going to get poked down here by Gen.G, and this has been afforded to them by Canyon. That one play around the Raptors gives them full bot lane control.
Dean just trying to bide his time here in the early parts of this matchup. Start to get a few more points in his abilities as...
Nice job. Wow. Yeah, going to connect there. Electrocute goes off for Chovy. And Faker not dead just yet, but is certainly under a lot of pressure here. As Chovy's sidestepping so many of these Qs very, very nicely as well.
Canyon was ready to do something on that play, but instead he's just going to look to start these Raptors up and continue the jungle dominance.
Oner has no smite.
Yeah, so Canyon should be able to take this one if he would like to. There it is. Smite does come on through as the heal comes down. Polymorph is in. Canyon is going to do the walk maneuver.
Greater heals there, the movement speed allowing Canyon to get away after stealing those Raptors, so he's feeling pretty good, and would you believe Oner going straight to Canyon's Raptors in return?
Well, that'll do it. Should be able to take those ones down. Keen is looking a little worse for wear, but he gets the cannon. So honestly, what more could you want?
You know, it's interesting because there was definitely a resurgence of Gangplank when Death by a Touch came into the game. The trading power of that rune, really extreme on the back of the parlay, but obviously has been nerfed a good amount since it was released and now doing magic damage, but Keen just opting for the grasp in this situation.
Yeah, I do think that it works a lot better too when you're playing against a melee champion. And
I think a lot of things do.
Yeah.
I do think that in this matchup here, you're not going to be getting that much grasp early, but Canyon's going to cover this top side and should be able to put Oner down here.
Yeah, Oner really wanted to stop the back. He did do that. But Keen is obviously able to teleport back in whenever he would like to. Meganar is going to be hit here by Doran, as that is a lot of damage onto Pays. Mystic Shot's landing, but he's also able to turn it. Barrier, the flash, and Ruler's just dead! Nothing he could do, and he opted in for that!
He arcane shifted forward, and the thing with this Ezreal Karma, you have poke for days, you have the harass, but when you get caught in to a full all-in, there's minions in the way, the passive is stacked up for the Inara, you don't have as much sustained damage. With your Q's not there, what can you do?
Yeah, when the Q is up for Pays, the sustained damage isn't there. The base auto damage isn't there for the Ezreal, where it is absolutely there for the Inara. You never win those, especially because the Lulu also has more consistent damage than the Karma when those abilities are on cooldown. And a massive, massive misjudge there for Ruler and Duro. And Pays is the kind of guy who will opt into those every time. If you're not sure, Pays absolutely is. He's got a call in his inventory. He gets first blood.
And this was also a point of power that Gen.G had to manufacture in this game. And for an unforced error to push that back in T1's favor without them needing to invest anything more.
Just a punish
means so much.
A punish attempt on the root. You know, it's so rare to get a root onto a target like this. And I think Ruler was just like, I don't know, he just fully instinctually was like, well, I punished that. And then instantly just realized, I think, that he had made a huge mistake.
All the minions in the way as well, not only blocking the Mystic Shots, but also you just taking minion damage on top of it. Just not the best play from Ruler, and gonna put this lane in a pretty rough position because now tier 2 boots completed for Pays. Having early tier 2 boots into a skill shot heavy lane feels so good.
Not to mention you stack your Q so much faster with the Greaves here for Pays.
Yeah, and if you look in comparison, Ruler doesn't even have a Sheen, which is a big factor in getting those favorable short trades.
Now Cannon Barrage is going to try and pin this wave out for Keen. I think was worried about a potential dive opportunity. Faker going to get spotted moving over towards Canyon now. Chovy obviously able to follow as the Claw gets Faker out of there. And Owner is not really interested in contesting this, although T1
6 now.
moving their bottom lane up, and now the Paranoia comes in, and Canyon's just dead. No level 6 available, and he's just going to die.
This was so well played by T1. They know they can slow this down. Cannon Barrage is used defensively on top, so they don't have it for the fight. Owner is calculated. The team rotates over at the exact same time he's finishing that buff to hit 6 to ult in, and now he's going to secure this dragon.
And I think in Canyon's mind, he's constantly trying to keep Owner down by denying him camps, but every time it happened, Owner just slinked over to Canyon's jungle and took some himself.
Oh, Doran taking a lot of damage here from Keen, and the trial by fire is dangerous. The parlay's not enough, and the is Gen.G able to get a kill over to Ruler, which is also so important to bring him back into the game. Oh, and now Chovy looking for an angle. Self-ult from Faker will keep him alive. Get that health bar back up again, but ulti's now traded between the mid laners as well.
It's a nice influx of gold. Keen getting to push the tower in, getting a plate, the kill going to Ruler. But more than anything, I feel like that kill is just a big morale boost for
Yeah, I was
Gen.G.
going to say, the vibes gained back is certainly more important.
Absolutely. Owner here is going to be looking to take these grubs away. Doran isn't here to defend, though.
Yeah,
on the flank.
Just wrapping around, looking for Owner, who still will get snared. When becomes lightning, is going to be eaten by the spell shield, though.
Yeah, the backup not quite there for Gen.G. They force Owner away, but respecting the fact that Carrier was moving in and Faker was on the map while Chovy was resetting. We'll get the replay.
Look at this Owner on the left side here. Faker gets out. They're buying time because Carrier and Pays have Prio and rotate over. Level 6 is here for Pays. It's an easy call to make to commit both ultimates there, blow up the jungler, and the fight is won. There's no way that Ruler can make a longer fight happen there. Here, Doran going a bit too far forward, finds himself on the wrong side of this barrel.
Yeah, he hops in and then he wards the brush after Keen has switched brushes. So does manage to make his way out initially, but then the true shot takes him out.
I think he was trying to hit Faker, because he hit Faker in mid lane as well. And then was very shocked when he managed to also kill Doran.
High value, you know, just fire it up through the middle of the map. If you hit, you hit.
Not bad at all. We're going to say calculated, even though now we know officially that it was kind of an accident as Cannon Barrage goes down. Faker comes in, though, and Keen going to need to eat a lot of damage. He does! Doran's dead, and Keen stays alive! It's a solo now. Faker.
Where did she be?
What?
Why would he do that? Term is up! Faker, what was that?
What? Huh? Oh, he tried to... Did he try to flash and press TP instead?
That could be it. That could be it. I'm going to go with that could be it.
I'm unsure. I think we can all agree that is not what he wants to happen.
Well, yeah.
All of a sudden, this is a game state where Gen.G have pulled ahead in gold. Chovy picks up a kill. Keen already got one earlier. He defends the dive there. And all of the advantages for T1 are washed away. Outside of the dragon, of course, which is permanent, but a bit bizarre here is the turret ramp is what really starts to do them in.
Yeah, I mean, the instant response from Keen with the ult, and then he has the oranges for the fear. There's no ult from Faker. So initially, the Gnar goes down.
I think he just thought that was his best chance of getting out. There's no way he was trying to flash there. That wouldn't make any sense.
I don't know. It feels to me like if he just keeps walking.
The walk strategy seemed promising there.
Yeah. I think it must have been an unforced error, unfortunately, there for Faker.
I mean, you can't cancel TP, not for a long time, so once it's pressed, you're just a sitting duck.
Yep. So Gen.G now with a slight gold advantage, but I feel like both teams, there's been some mistakes. I feel like the pressure of this series has been getting to both of them. Ruler with the miscalculation in the early game, Faker with the weird teleport in the top lane. No one is infallible in this series so far, and this is not a large lead by any means. And I'm looking down at the champions that are ahead. And Yunara being 700 gold up is a scary prospect, as Chovy going to look for Faker here, but doesn't find the orb.
It's scarier when you consider that she'll, in 13 minions time, have a Cole's worth of gold advantage additionally over Ruler to push him up to 1,000. So Very, very strong Inara. A lot of great setup.
Scary now, though, is Keen has got Essence Reaver, so mana problem is no longer a thing. He can just trade heavily with Doran. He's approaching that level 13 big GP power spike. And at this point, he can just walk up to him and spam Q, and there's not much Doran can do about it.
Yep. This is where the matchup sort of turns, and you're probably sitting at home. You're like, oh, well, why did he pick this? He's just been like, you know, getting pushed in lane over and over again. Well, this is why. As now Faker in a lot of trouble, takes the claw, gets to safety, and does have now a lot of his health bar missing.
Yeah, you are Lissandra, so you're inherently somewhat safe with your ult and your claw, but he doesn't have TP, so having to back here is really going to hurt, especially with this dragon spawning right now. It looks like we're going to have maybe one dragon apiece here. See the back of FaZe right now as Canyon starts this dragon up, and Gen.G get a huge win here as Faker was concerned about Prio on the dragon, and he found out he didn't have it.
Oh dear. This is not where you want to be backing, as Owner is on a ward and is therefore going to be interrupted. That is going to guarantee that this dragon goes over to Gen.G. As teleport back to the top lane from Doran, they are not interested in looking for that one. True Shot Barrage is not going to quite find the interruption there onto FaZe. And it is going to be a Ocean Soul. I kind of felt like that was what was going to happen. I believe the first two Drakes, yeah, Infernal and Hextech. So they're very cool ones.
Hey, look at all the items that just came through that would have been nice to have.
Yeah.
For that dragon is the Hex Plate, the Kraken Slayer, and the Ardent Censer are all bought as the dragon is taken.
We're kind of learning why they didn't decide to fight for that one.
Yeah.
The wallets were a little heavy, needed to get to the shops before they really wanted to make anything happen. Level 11 here for Doran, as Faker is able to get himself away from this outer turret in the bottom lane. And a bit of a park in mid lane. Ruler obviously wanting to hit that Manamune spike as soon as possible. And there will be a moment, even though the Ezreal is 1,000 gold behind, where he will be stronger than FaZe. And we'll see whether Gen.G can leverage that.
Potentially. If he hits that 2 items and this lead is maintained, then yeah, that can be a point where you're stronger. But if FaZe pulls ahead further...
Ah, yes. If he then kills all of Gen.G and buys an Infinity Edge, I would say that FaZe would be then ahead.
You know what? I would agree.
But sometimes it's good to point out the obvious, though.
I think there's more to it than which items the AD carries are holding. It's how the fights are set up, who has vision.
It's not the items you have, it's how you use them, Wolf. Is that what you're saying?
How your teammate sets you up to use them when you're the AD carry, because sometimes you don't get to do anything on your own. You have to be given some help, as that was a great charm. Toby's been popping off on this pick into a counter pick.
Yeah, that is probably a dead Duro. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
So just in case Duro wanted a flash, he probably would have died anyway, but just in case he wanted to, he didn't get a chance.
No.
Flash, polymorph from Carrier, they're like, we are killing this guy no matter what. And definitely ensured that one.
Absolutely did. That is going to mean in 23 seconds time that T1 will have control around this Herald. I do feel like it was perhaps a little bit of an overinvestment, as Keen is going to get ulted and then presses oranges.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre as well there.
He is not the target that you want to hit with a Frozen Tomb. Let's just say that.
Yeah, a lot of resources expended from T1, and now we have the Herald up and available. Your Lulu doesn't have Flash. You're down 4 ultimates. And they're the big ones, actually, because even though Gnarl is big, it has like a tiny cooldown, so you can kind of spam it. So I think T1 not going to be able to contest this Herald at all with how many they've expended.
And not to mention the barrage means that Keen can use it without even joining the fight. And because he has TP, he can join the fight, but he can make an impact without that.
Yeah, Gen.G should be confident here.
Yeah, and I mean, Faker does have teleport, but Keen has Cannon Barrage. So if T1 are going to try and walk through this choke, they could have cannons.
I like this choice. FaZe has made the right choice. He's just going to keep pushing with his cannon wave here to try to get some plate damage done. And he won't be able to do what a Herald does, but he can do a little bit.
I think a big factor is T1 posturing just to make sure Gen.G did group up so FaZe does get access to the tower. If you just don't send anyone a Herald, they'll just have people in mid defending, as they do now.
Oh, Canyon.
The ult's back up, by the way.
As the ulti plays a little bit of Nocturne tennis as he does flash his way over the wall, but the eye is going to get taken here by Keen. He's fighting against FaZe, but Carrier's there to back him up. I have a feeling that this gangplank is not going to live, and he is going to go down. down. That is going to be the kill onto Doran, though, as now Faker is in a lot of trouble buying time, but it's a double for Ruler. He finally goes down, though, as Chovy looks for the angle, but doesn't find it, and Pays kills the rest of them. Quadra kill for the Inara.
This huge cleanup from the 80 carry of T1. 7-0-0 now on the Yunara, and Gen.G in shambles after that fight. T1 didn't contest the Herald because they didn't have the ults, but the aftermath, as they came up, they saw a window and Pays was unleashed.
I'll take late game win condition coming early for 700, Alex. 7-0-0.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of manifested this. I don't want to take responsibility, but I do feel like we should be a little bit careful.
Initially, it looks like the teleport timing here and the angle for the teleport is super disjointed, and that T1 have really misjudged this situation. But when you look at how the fight breaks out here, Faker buys a bunch of space, but Pays is alive, and Faker, as he dies, does so much damage that Pays is ready to go in here and finish it off. Flashes over, has the barrier, and knows he has the damage, and there's just not any outplay opportunity here. Nice try comes through from the Arya and the Karma, but he just cleans it up a Quadra, and this guy just keeps doing this.
Yep.
He keeps getting the Quadras, he keeps getting the Pentas, he waits for his moments, and he seizes them well.
And you know, Doran and Faker, Doran getting a 3-man ult in that choke, and then Faker following up, doing all that damage to set it up. T1 in a winning position right now, but still looking to set up for this dragon, and Gen.G trying to approach.
Yeah, see whether Gen.G have some fight left in them. Cannon Barrage back up and available. In fact, every ultimate is there apart from Doran's. His Boomerang also running away. Pays taking a lot of damage here as the Rift Herald. They catch him! And they catch him! Carrier in trouble as well, as he will be taken out by Canyon. And he has the Crescent Guard there as well. They take out the turret. Faker with the self-ult, but he'll just be taken out as look at all this essence that Chovy's built up from all of these kills. And T1 throw it all the way back to Gen.G.
We've had caster curses, but I feel like this was a player curse.
Yeah.
I did
Set
not.
himself up so well.
I did not take responsibility for this one.
That was a player curse.
You know what,
right
maybe
there.
we shouldn't say anything. Maybe we should just say commentary noises so that we can't be blamed for anything.
He was the one who got the kills. He was the one who looked infallible. He was the one who had the great judgment. They had the angle, though. The late Herald drop, and he just completely gets...
Wait, oh no.
Oh, not able to get that, but that is Ruler
Okay.
that locks it down. Canyon was walking to the top lane.
If he'd stolen that, would have been pretty insane. But yeah,
Watch Pays.
the thing is, he ults, but he got slowed going into it. So even with the dash, you can't get out. And then he was just already dead, basically before Chovy touched him, but he just finishes him off.
The Essence Flux was on him when he got hit by the True Shot Barrage as well. Just everything was lining up.
You know, when you get 7 kills on a Yunara this early in the game, it feels great, but there is a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. And I feel like Pays maybe needed someone to say the Uncle Ben line to him.
Yeah, with great power. Yeah.
Comes a target on your back, and they got a lot of CC.
Yep.
And burst damage, as we saw there from Ruler.
Well, Pays is now, you know, he's going to learn from that one. He's still massively far ahead, but he's the only one on his team with an advantage. And once again, it's Chovy is massively far ahead, and so is Pays. It's happened in the last 2 games at this stage. Last time around, though, it was T1 that were able to get the better of Gen.G. We'll see whether Gen.G can play it better this time to bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Now they have that third item for Pays, because until he purchased it, it was like, I have a massive gold lead, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything right now until that item is
exactly what you were talking about has occurred,
Yeah.
Ox, as well.
Realist hit his 2 items, which normally feels great, but Pays is on 3 because he got 4 kills in that earlier fight, so
yeah,
not very fair.
So I will cancel talking about the 2 item spike for the Ezreal this time around. It's one of my favorite things to talk about as well. I'm very sad. That's okay. King going to be able to take down this outer turret in the bottom lane. Faker going to return the favor on the top side of the map.
T1, a lot of Baron control right now. A lot of vision control on the entrance to the river. Quite tempting to start this one up with this 3-item Yunara, but instead they're going to set a trap. And Gen.G, like, don't take the bait at all.
You say that. Great charm is going to connect as the wild growth from Carrier. That play was absurd! That is illegal. You're not allowed to do that as Keen turns up. And now the flash out. There's the Crescent Guard as Faker gets into the backline, finds the Frozen Tomb onto Keen as the Gnar comes back, but Faker is already dead. Ruler standing his ground and Pays taking matters into his own hands, but the barrel is just so big, and it's Ruler's turn to carry this time. Maybe I am allowed to talk about the item spikes, because Ruler's going to build a third as he picks up the triple. You best believe he was yelling Penta, 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 but now they're yelling Baron, Baron, Baron.
They'll go for the Baron. A crazy play. It looks like Kerry was caught, but he goes for possibly the most aggressive Lulu play I've ever seen.
Always thinking about the wild growth on the Nocturne, but here he turns it and Flash self-ults.
And then polymorphs Chovy after, so he can't ult away.
Exactly, and Owner's there to follow. But then they chase a bit deep with Faker on the Lissandra looking for the triple root here. Everybody's dashing through this cannon barrage. So much damage comes down, and then Pays again, steps forward, gets greedy, gets caught here by the barrel, and Canyon collapses through, and there's just too much damage. Owner can't escape, and now Gen.G turned what was an incredible play from Carrier into a winning trade and a Baron.
My lord, this series is... And I kind of want to talk about something that you mentioned. I don't know whether you wanted to mention it on broadcast, Wolf, but you were like, this is the first phenomenal series that we've had, and it continues to deliver.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, after the first great game we had, which was game 2, I was like, well, that was the first real game we had at this whole event.
You were excited. You're like, I got my one game. I'm very happy. It's been a great season.
And we got a series, right? And that's good. I could walk out of this one happy, but ooh.
All right, Duro doesn't have Flash, so he's very dead. It's just going to be taken out. That is going to take some of the wind out of the Gen.G sails, as this Rebel Baron power play was already not exactly powerful.
So even though they will have him back up for that next dragon, he's the one who needs to be there setting up vision. So it does mean T1 can just push in and contest any of this vision in the dragon area.
All right, 34 seconds.
80 carries with massive, massive advantages that they shouldn't ordinarily have. Like, I mean, not obviously the advantage is Pays over his opposition, but both 80 carries have more gold than
this
you're
is the thing.
supposed to have. They're
you're looking at it and you're like, oh, Pays' lead isn't that big. He mustn't be that big. But that's because Ruler is now huge as well.
Yeah, he has Endless Hunger at 23 minutes, which is not actually natural.
Especially not when his opponent is 9-2.
Yes.
You'd think that perhaps Ruler would be a little bit further behind. That
and it's a cool storyline we talked about earlier about how these players just constantly replaced each other on each other's teams, and the I don't want to say rivalry, but relationship that they have as a result of that, and probably pride that they have to want to try to defend their legacy against each other. It's very epic to see how this game has turned out, as this dragon will ultimately go over to Gen.G. It's soul point for Ocean Soul, which isn't the most exciting, but is certainly something.
Yeah, even with the pick on Aduro, T1 just don't opt to prioritize it. Keep Faker up in the top lane. He didn't have TP when the dragon got started. It is up now, though. And Doran was down in the bot lane, although obviously pretty close to the dragon. So they'll just continue to buy time. The Red Bull Baron power play
is 0.
It's actually plus 52.
Sorry, it feels like 0. I don't think 52 gold is all that important. Canyon took a red buff. That's going to move it to 150. True Shot Barrage is going to stop Carrier from going home, and Carrier doesn't really care about that one. So not a whole lot to come from this very early Baron, as you would expect from one taken this early in the game, I think in this current iteration of League of Legends.
Now we have to think about which composition, as we get later and later, feels better to play, because both of these comps scale really well. You got GP Ezreal, right, and a Karma that's scaling up here, and then on T1 side, you have Yunara, and you have a Gnar who can be a threat in side lanes. I think that there's more threats for T1, which is why I trust their scaling more. I think they have more ways and more consistent options to kill Ruler, to kill Keen, to kill Chovy. And the Karma being, kind of a big shield bot isn't necessarily going to make Pays too scared. It's more about Chovy, and he's the real one who has the extra damage, or Canyon, who could potentially get on top of Pays if he's overextending. I think right now, even 1,000 gold behind here, this is currently a favorable game state for T1 as a result of this, but we will see how this all pans out. Arm guards here for Chovy, which gives him some extra flexibility.
Pays is quite strong.
Yeah, I think one thing, though, is that even though T1 have a lot of ways of getting on top of the carries, Gen.G do have a GP and an Ezreal, and even the Ahri has more sustained damage over a fight than Alessandra if you're getting the resets. If FaZe dies, I think T1 just lose so much pressure. These last couple of fights have gone badly for them have been because FaZe died. So all the eggs kind of feel like they're in the FaZe basket, whereas Gen.G has a bit more insurance in case things go awry. It's really going to come down to that 80 carry for T1. He has to step up, get the damage down, but not step too far.
Yeah, this is the thing. He can feel that he has all of that responsibility, that he cannot let that force him into precarious positions like it did the last time around. True Shot Barrage lands on the carrier. Didn't like that. That took a lot of damage.
Shielded FaZe though. That's a true support.
There you go, beautiful.
This is a tense moment here, but a bit of a calm before the storm of this spawning Baron, this spawning Dragon, which would be soul for Gen.G. So the IE is completed, and you can see that's a number, or rather an item above what Ruler has, but there's nothing to fight for, so it feels probably pretty frustrating for FaZe, who's the solo gold lead here for T1 that isn't able to utilize that advantage right now, and Gen.G aren't going to give him that chance. We'll see if Ruler can't form up that fourth item before we do eventually get to these objectives here. He's 1,400 gold behind, but probably getting close to picking up that Shojin.
Yeah. Could be relatively soon, and that one is going to be ready. It is going to be Serpent's Fang done for Keen before he builds an Infinity Edge or anything like that, if the Gangplank would like. And
he's the reducer. He's got the healing reduction, the shield reduction.
Yeah.
If he hits a barrel on FaZe, he's got the health reduction.
Yeah, he does definitely have
we
health
certainly have had a few if FaZe gets hit by large damage numbers.
Yeah,
problem games
be a prominent focus point in this game.
Yeah, they're not relying on consistent CC to hit the Yunara. They're relying on consistent death to hit the Yunara.
Death is the greatest CC.
It's pretty good. Cannon Barrage is also pretty good CC as well. So I think that Keen is, his responsibility will be making sure that FaZe has an awkward circle to walk around in that makes him slow and does damage. But we'll just have to see how these fights are going to be set up, because Gen.G oftentimes in these moments are very good at just building a gold lead. Right now, this 800 gold, this minuscule advantage that they've had, has been held for such a long time. And you guys were talking about scaling. I think that by the looks of things, T1 are just very happy to let this game go late and be better in team fights, because that's how they've won quite a few of their more recent games.
And it's certainly been the case. We've had a lot of comebacks throughout this tournament, and this gold lead is so tiny. But T1 have a lot of tools. They're going to have to pick their moment correctly. Speaking of, we're going to have that TP in for Chovy here as the Dragon starts to spawn. Faker will match it after buying as he finishes his back right now.
Yep, Ocean Soul on the cards here for Gen.G. True Shot Barrage going to be avoided by Doran. As Keen...
Area is so important here is Wild Growth, how he chooses to use it. Does he
honestly, one barrel can be the end as FaZe goes in. There's a Paranoia as well. Cannon Barrage goes down, but not a lot of value coming from that one as Keen still able to get a lot of damage from the grave, but he will go down. And T1, can they get back in? Wind becomes lightning, Doran stays alive. And Gen.G, I think they're going to have to give this one up. I don't think the game is worth one Ocean Dragon.
I don't think so.
Faker did reset, doesn't have TP, so just trying to run back over here. FaZe trying to get the red buff and heal up off it.
Doran didn't get a whole lot out of this Mega Gnar.
Well, he flashes.
Oh, he's doing it now.
Does get a single-person ultimate, but Chovy will
hit yet.
Yeah, going to help Ruler grab that kill. Now Carrier just goes down. The True Shot Barrage does a lot of work, and Faker turns up alongside FaZe, but T1 have 2 dead. That's going to be the soul.
That's not what I meant, Doran, that you get a lot of the Mega. It didn't mean you had to try to get something out of the Mega.
Despite the fact T1 get the numbers advantage, it felt like, oh
dear, they're looking for another angle. Great spell shield there from Ona. He's able to block the charm from Chovy, as Faker not quite able to find the slow from the Q. Gen.G slinking back towards the Baron. Teleport in from the Gangplank. And Chovy looks for it again.
I mean, they're on Baron. He's just trying to keep them at bay as they finish this one off. It's down to 75.
Has ultimate, though, if he really wants to go for it.
Needs vision, though.
Does he have health bar? That's the problem. As Keen, these barrels just do so much damage. 4 seconds until he does have the Cannon Barrage back up, and that is second Baron over to Gen.G.
And I want to talk about this real quickly is...
You can take your time, I think.
Yeah, because we're going really early into this one. The Wild Growth usage here is great again. But when we get to the part where Doran goes in, it's not that his choice to go in itself is wrong. It's just that FaZe isn't here, right? There isn't follow-up damage. They don't have their combos and tools. So he goes in, and then FaZe is like...
well, Yunara without ultimate as well, like, just doesn't really do as much.
Over the wall.
If everybody was together there and the targets were a little bit lower, sure. But it just felt super forced there. And Gen.G were already going to get the Dragon if he doesn't do it, but then they get an extra kill. They turn it into a Baron, and this Baron looks like it's about to be way more relevant than the last.
Well, they're looking for an angle here as Canyon just presses Crescent Guard. So that is going to be ultis traded for the junglers, but also FaZe. He pressed his R button. He's not going to have that for the next little while. And Gen.G, they take down the inner turret here on the top side in this Rebel Baron power play. This time around, it is looking like it's pretty charged up. As Fake able to take the Claw to get himself to safety. They kind of wish that their inhibitor turret could have also taken the Claw to get to safety because it's not looking very safe at all. FaZe still doing a lot of damage as Canyon in trouble. Faker is just dead.
A charm from Chovy means he can't ult. He just goes down before he gets a chance.
Oh my goodness, and this Cannon Barrage means that there's no ability to try and follow up on anything at all. The poke damage from Gen.G just kind of ridiculous.
They're trying to end this game right now with the whittling down of these turrets. 3 cannon minions charged up. They just can't clear them.
Yeah,
Chovy!
and the flash from Chovy not going to quite connect as they look for pace. He still almost dies. Ruler is keen, wanting to get the barrels down. Doran charges up that Meganar. He throws the house around, but the base is now exposed. The Nexus will just be focused here by Gen.G, and cue the Silver Scrapes. We're going to 5.
Agency there. Faker tries to go for a big play, and Gen.G and Chovy snap the neck of T1. And you put it best earlier, it feels like this whole series is FaZe versus Chovy. This game felt a little bit more like FaZe versus Ruler in the kills, but the high impact plays that both of these players are making, their agency is so high right now. Feels like whoever wins this 5th game, it's gonna be one of the 2 of them that picks up POM.
나도 한번 볼 생각할게. 네. 천천히.
나 살짝 치겠다.
야, 매운 맞춰. 나이스. 나 미칼 없는 거야. 천천히 꺼내 생각하자. 여기서 끝낼 거 보자. 나 이플 감을게. 매운 잘 쳤다. 나 화약통 채우면 좋고. 나 한 개. 딜러들 뭉쳐있지 말고.
대포 많아. 대포 많아.
라인 지워줘.
얘들아 공 언제 돌지? 내가 지울게.
몰라. 천천히 돌만해. 빠르긴 해 근데. 유나한테 한번 받고 난 빠질게 이거.
시력 좋으니까 천천히 하자.
대포로 끝내면 돼 천천히.
한번 볼게.
포킹하면서.
유나 노플. 따라. 타워. 유나 노플.
천천히 해봐.
끝났다. 타워 와줄래? 타워.
얘네 잡았어.
나이스. 와. 나이스.